Welcome to the SMJ Falconry YouTube channel. So today we're going to discuss how we got started at SMJ Falconry, how we got our first bird, who it was, and a little bit more of the history of how we became what we are today. So my name is Chris. I'm Sandra's son who started the initial business. And there's also my dad who takes part in doing mainly the email side of things these days, as well as helping us on our shows and bits and bobs around the country. Now, we got started way back now. It was 2001, I believe. What we started with, we actually did a experience day at Centre Parks of all places, which, as if you've been to Centre Parks in the UK, it was quite a big operation. So I think we were one of like 20 people taking part in the experience day. So we only really got to hold like a barn owl and an eagle owl, and we saw a few falcons in the background and bits and bobs. We didn't get too much hands-on stuff, but we really enjoyed it. So from there, we actually looked at further experiences that we could take part in. And we stumbled across the Yorkshire Dales Falconry Centre, which was based over near Settle, over in the Yorkshire Dales. And we actually did an experience, myself and my dad did a experience day over there, and we really enjoyed that. And we said, you know, how can we get more involved in falconry and perhaps even look at getting our own bird eventually ourselves. From there, we found another experience day company, a bird of prey centre over in Firsk, which is in North Yorkshire. And there was a chap called Ben Potter who was running the centre there. And he was a really nice chap. We loved the half-day experience there. I got to hold a battler eagle and even a steppe eagle, which was huge for the time because I was only about 12 or 13 at the time, so I was quite young. Magnificent birds they were. And he advised us to come back on a full day to really try and, you know, learn a little bit more about how to get into the world of falconry. So we did that. Me and my dad did that experience, and he showed us how to make equipment, how to tie the falconer's knot, and all these other things and bits and bobs. He also gave us a list of books to go away and buy and read, which we did. And then it also advised to join a falconry club. So we found the Yorkshire Falconry Club, and we all signed up as a family there. And we found some really nice experienced people who helped advise us a little bit further. So we did end up getting Oslo, who was my first ever bird. Harris Hawk he was, and he was an absolutely stunning little guy, and he turned out to be an absolutely amazing first bird. Really good hunting bird. It was amazing catching both rabbits and pheasants, and he'd even go for squirrels, which I didn't really want him to, but he really liked chasing squirrels as well. We ended up flying Oslo, and we ended up actually arguing over Oslo, me and my mum. So she eventually got Ella, who was her female Harris Hawk. And one thing with Harris Hawks, you can actually fly them together in a cast. You can fly them together, and they will actually hunt cooperatively. Now, because Oslo was a little bit older and Ella was a more powerful, bigger, dominant female, Oslo thought he was in charge and Ella thought she was in charge, and they ended up squabbling, fighting, and not getting along. So I said I wouldn't fly them together. And then my mum, a couple of years later, she ended up getting Boris. Boris was another male Harris Hawk that we had. And my mum flew Ella and Boris together. And from there, we had 3 hawks. So there was 3 of us, we had 3 hawks. And we enjoy flying them and hunting them just on a personal basis. And then we actually got asked by someone in the Falconry Club to start running some of his hunting days. So he would take clients out, just like we do now, out on a personal basis, hunting up in the Yorkshire Dale with his hawks. So the person would actually carry the hawk for him, and they would actually hold the hawk, and we would ferret and try and flush out rabbits and pheasants for the hawks to catch. And that's really how we started. So that was the first sort of jobs and business we did. We started just personal hunting days, as I say, for a friend of ours, and then he actually moved down to South Wales, so he couldn't look after that side of the business anymore, so we sort of took that over from him. And it was shortly after this time that I actually left school, and I was sat at home playing the computer and not doing the right lot during the summer. Oslo was in the molt, so he was growing out new feathers. and my mum saw a job advertised at the Yorkshire Dales Falconry Centre, which we'd previously visited on an experience day. And she actually applied for the job herself, took me along, and they actually said, well, really, we were looking at someone younger. So they actually said, would I like the job? So I took that job and I spent 8 months there working at the Yorkshire Dales Falconry Centre. It really did bring me out of my shell because I had to do experiences, I had to do shows, and I was a very shy boy at school. And obviously, going out into the wide world, living with my co-worker David at the time, it was a big change. And then obviously doing stuff in front of public and public talking and things, it was a really, really big change, but it did really bring me out of my shell and taught me a lot of different things. Now, after 8 months at the Yorkshire Dale Falconry Centre, I actually got offered or saw a job offered at Nick Fox's breeding centre, which is International Wildlife Consultants and also known as Fox Falcons now down in South Wales. And Nick Fox has written many books on falconry, and he's passed the hawk board and done massive things for falconry and also different species of falcon as well during his time. So I took this job. I managed to get an interview and I got offered the job, and I did take the job very, very quickly. So I moved down there in 2007, July 2007, and I ended up working there for 5.5 years with some amazing people, and I learned so much about falcons and all sorts of falcon breeding and even training certain falcons and lots of different things involved in falconry and just bird husbandry and aviculture as well. It was an amazing time, and I don't regret it at all. During that time, my mum started to develop the business a little bit more. She got a kestrel, a tawny owl, and a peregrine falcon. She started to do a few different shows, a few different. So she kind of outgrew where we were living at the time, the house that I'd grown up in. So they looked for a bigger place. And that's where they found where we are now, which we're based in Oxenhope, which is near Haworth in West Yorkshire. We're based on just about 15 acres of land, and then we have lots and lots of farmland all around us, which is brilliant because we have permission to fly the birds over there as well as all over our land as well. So they have lots and lots of countryside to explore, as well as we have an amazing place to host our experience days as well. So my mum was really struggling to push the business to the next level and really do some of the bigger shows and push the experience days further forwards and all sorts of different things. So she asked when I was up here on holiday if me and my partner would actually like to move up to Yorkshire and help develop the business a little bit further forwards. We were very hesitant at first, and then we thought, well, let's do it. Let's really see what we can do. So we actually moved up here in December 2012, and we've grown the business quite a lot ever since. And since then, we've got quite a few different birds. So for instance, like Willow here, she joined the team. We also had our hooded vulture. We've had all sorts of different birds join us after I actually moved here. And we're to the point now we can run 2 separate shows at a time, and we can also possibly do the odd experience day whilst those shows are going on as well. But one thing that we really did change, we stopped doing like the group experiences, and we decided to move more towards the private experiences that we do now. So our private experience days are very, very popular because we always felt when we did experiences when we were learning right back at the start, we always felt a little bit overshadowed when we'd be in a group. So by doing the experiences on a one-to-one basis, people seem to enjoy it so much more because you don't feel like you can ask a silly question, and the experience is yours and you can tailor it to you as well. So that's one thing that we have really pushed for. And we are still developing. So this year we've actually built 8 brand new aviaries, and we've converted some of our old weatherings into nice big aviaries. So a weathering is just a perched area, but now they're in a free lofted area instead. And we're always changing, so we always like to update and bring things new. And there are bigger plans afoot at SMJ Falconry as well. So there's a little bit of a history of SMJ Falconry and how we came to be how we are. I hope you've enjoyed Willow's input here, Willow the red kite, having a little input. But if you've got any questions, please do leave them below.